Hello and welcome to CS230. This is lecture 24 and lesson 1, and in this lesson I'm going to show you how we can port our literary quotations database that we develop with NodeJS and the MongoDB backend, which I currently have running on my local host on port 3000. I want to move that over to repl.it so that we're using a version that sits entirely online in this virtual playground, and that we're also accessing our MongoDB on Atlas Cloud. And you can see I just have a quotations database here, and I just have a single quotation in here, my Emily Bronte term made me cruel one, and I'm using that as my data source rather than using the locally hosted one. So you can see that this is the app is running on Node.js in repl.it, and you can see it's just accessing that single record here, and we can just copy, for example, the address here and just verify it's running by going down to our Insomnia and posting that there, and that should probably get us our data as well. And we can see it's pulling it down, so we can access it using our Insomnia tool as well. So everything is running entirely in an online playground here using the MongoDB as the source from Atlas Cloud. So let's start from scratch and see how we do this. So I have everything working here in my Finder. So I have lots of stuff here, but basically we're interested in week 11's service. I've developed a little bit for week 12, and I'll show you those developments in a few later lessons today. But anyhow, so what we want to do is we want to replicate the structure that we have here. So I have my app, and I have my controllers, my routes, my models, all that stuff there. So what I want to do is drag those and drop them across onto repl.it. So I have my window open here. Here's where I can create the folds. Now I can actually drag and drop files and folders to upload them, which is a nice thing to be able to do. So let's try that and see if it works out fine for us. Okay, so let's take our quotations app here, and I'm just going to drag this folder across, and hopefully we should get some controllers, models, routes. There's a few things coming here from my Mac, so we just get rid of this one because we don't need this one here. So that's fine, but the other things we expect are all here. Okay, so that was easy. So that's the app part working. Let's see what else we need to bring across. Okay, so we have that part. The configuration, we'll make a config directory. So let's create a config directory here. In fact, we don't want to make it there. We want to make it up here, so that's on the same level as the app. Config. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy across the file that gives us our MongoDB access. And it's pretty straightforward, so I'll just bring the Atlas one across because I'll pop it into that directory there. So it's fine. And I'm going to rename this file just connect, because that's what I want in my server file. So back again, what else are we missing? Now we don't want to bring across the node modules because REPL will do all that for us anyway. It'll set all that stuff up. Okay, the public, yep, we want this because it's all our display stuff. And so let's drag that across to this here as well. And we have our public, and it'll probably a little bit of time to do that because it's got to bring across all of our CSS and all of our JavaScript files that we will use as part of the app. Let's see what else is here. Our views, of course, yeah, we want to get all those views as well. You don't need screenshots and that kind of stuff that I just use for the lectures. So we bring across the server as well. That server file is probably our most important one, really, that we want to be able to bring across. So how are we doing with public? It's not got those across yet. I'm not surprised it takes a little bit of time to do that, but while we're doing this, we'll bring across our server as well. So there's a whole bunch of servers here, server files, so that's fine, we have that. Okay, we can see that these are appearing already, getting this Mac stuff as well, so we don't need this file. Okay, our server, what we're going to do now is we're going to just get rid of the default index.js here. Well, and by doing that, you see, if you notice, I have no way to delete this. I have no option to delete this index because it needs one to start. So what I'll do is I'll go into my server and I'll just select everything in here and then pop into my index. So now I've got everything in here, and now I'll just delete this server file. Okay. So that's the file that it expects us to have. Now, I think everything should be here and running. Now what happens, of course, is when we run first time, then we end up Node works out all the packages that we require and does all that work for us. You'll notice here I'm connecting to a file called connect.js, and it contains the Atlas details. That's why I renamed that one there. So let's run it and see what happens. So we get all the work going on in the background here, where it's installing all of the various items that we need, and it should be okay. I think we've copied across everything that we need in order to make it work. It'll take a little bit of time for this to work here. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll go back and just check here. Everything's fine, and you can check the data was fine here too. We might just add another quotation to this at some point as well, just to be sure and verify that it works fine for us. But there's a little bit of time taking to make this work. Okay, but it's okay. I have it running here anyway, so we could add another quotation. Okay, so let's add a quotation, and let's add the one from Darth Vader. Save it, and it was fine. And we're going back, and now we have our two quotations here. Okay, it's a small little window, of course, but it's okay. And again, remember, I'm just accessing the one that's here. So I'll go back to my collection here, and I'll just click on it again just to do a quick refresh, and you'll see that it's fine. So we know that it's working just fine using the online setup. Okay. Oh, it failed to look up quotations view, so I'm missing something. Ah, that's because I didn't bring the views across. Well, that makes sense. I did say I would do that, and I didn't bring them, so it's good to know that when there's an error, there's an error. Okay, and we need to bring the views across, and it should be in the directory, in the app directory, so let's do that. Let's bring that app across there. So now we have views. Let's restart. Another error. Okay. Failed to look up the view. Did I not bring the views across? Where have I got the views? Yep, everything should be there. Let's restart it. Yep. Okay, failed to look up view in the views directory. Okay, so I don't know why it's not getting that. There should be their quotations view. It's here, quotations view. Yeah, it should be there. Okay, let me just check. Oh, God, because it's in the wrong directory. Oh well, we all make mistakes. So, of course, it should be out here. Okay, so let's restart. It's good to read the errors. If I can't find them, I can't find them. So it's now listening on the port, and with a bit of luck, it should be working up here. It's working fine, and it's okay. You know, if you get errors, you get errors. It doesn't always work for me as well. So I mean, I could have deleted the video and said, you know, make it perfect every time, but it's a good idea sometimes. So look, it's here. It's fine, and we're running on the port. Now our new version is here. Okay, so let's copy this address here, and let's pop it into Insomnia. And send, and it's working just fine. So we have everything working fine. It worked out nicely, and that's it. Works just perfectly for us. Small bit of an issue there in terms of not having the views directory at the current level. I thought I'd put it into the correct one, but you know, you can watch that kind of thing. And of course, you know, errors happen, but we know it works when we developed it locally, and that's fine. Okay, so thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.